I recorded a podcast, the episode of the podcast a while ago that was titled something like "My Way to Success" or whatever, which unfortunately was not an episode about my past story to success, rather than my plan how to achieve said success in a very hypothetical future. It wasn't exactly a very serious episode, because I don't treat success very seriously, to be honest. It all depends on the personal definition. But what I did mention there is that I am completely not the person of a type of a motivation that is being promoted currently in social media and basically everywhere. I'm not this kind of a person that can pick up one thing, completely focus on it, and sacrifice everything else in my life just to become an absolute master in one thing and one thing only. I am very easily ignited, very easily motivated, and very easily burned out. I am a very weird person. I am a sprinter. So unfortunately, I have to always rely on waves of energy that comes and goes, and I can't do anything about it. Honestly, whenever I am burned out, I have to lay back. There is no other way around it. Therefore, any kind of structured path to achieve anything isn't going to work for me. I dropped from the university 3 times only because of that. Whether I was hyped on chemical engineering, physics, or mathematics, it lasted for some time, like a month, 2 or 3 months, and then I felt like, just stopping. And honestly, I do hold an opinion that if I would allow myself to be absolutely honest with myself, I would easily finish university. But because after 2 or 3 months of, constant learning and being totally into it, I didn't allow myself for a month of a break and failing all the tests that there are, only to gather more grades and better grades whenever my flame would reignite. Instead, I was just pushing myself because I was like, okay, I am not into the subject anymore, but I need to really pass this test. And I was forcing myself, and I was completely burned out by the end of the year, like completely dead. This is just not me. If there will be a university where you can just attend for 3 months and have a 1 month free, and because of that, the whole getting of a degree will take you 2 years more, I would love it. Because I would get this degree later than everybody else, and I will have like 5 side projects done as well. So I would love it, but unfortunately it doesn't really work like that. You have to keep up with everybody else. And I think that this is the worst thing, that we are trying to apply all the forms of education and self-creation, let's say, based on the tempo of the average. That's the worst thing, really. Honestly. Because everybody's having a different tempo and everybody's flame is different. Some people are like me. They are just very easily ignited and very easily burned out. And what they need is they need sprints. They need sprinting. And they need breaks. And very often it's completely unrelated to the people that they are, One thing about me. Whenever you are afraid that you don't want to go and follow the things that you're interested in because you think that those things are arbitrary, and if you would follow them, it means you will not finish anything at all, you might be right. That's the first thing. But secondly, if you will remain true to yourself, which is the opposite of what I've been doing through all those years, you might actually realize that you're just circling around. You're not going for 20 different things. It feels like it. But whenever you allow yourself to go and pursue whatever the fuck you want, you realize that you basically stick with 3, 5, or 7 things, whatever. That doesn't have to be prime numbers. I don't know why I came up with 3, 5, and 7, whatever. This is the case for me. Almost everything that I'm doing, give me a sec to think about it. Everything that I'm doing is basically related to gaming and fantasy. So either writing, both poems and stories. And philosophy. There you go. Yeah, and philosophy. Or whenever I'm even going for programming, right? That seems like a separate thing. What I'm thinking is, I'm thinking about making a game. About producing a game. So I try to learn 3 different engines. So there is a mistake, because I should have just stayed with one. Maybe then I would actually finish a game. And I actually thought about coming back to game development, but I'm not, for one reason. I don't have a game idea. I think it would be kind of cool to, learn the process, but I know I would get bored. I would have to be passionate about creating a certain game and just pursue this and only this. I have basics, so I can just go for it. It will be far from ideal, but it is what it is. Whenever I'm doing pixel art, I'm doing pixel art from games and from books and from fantasy and stuff. Recently, I launched a merchandise on Etsy. If you're curious, it's Angry Hedgehog GG. If you're looking for a Christmas present or something. Where I did 3 different designs for gamers that play Overwatch, specifically support in Overwatch, and also from Dark Souls, that are original and, they're nowhere to be found on Etsy. They're really good. I like it. So these are the things that I'm doing. All the time. I'm playing video games, I'm writing stuff, sometimes I'm coding stuff, but it's also about video games, fantasy and video games, basically pure imagination stuff. That's me. And I'm just circling around, and as long as I'll stay true to myself, I will get somewhere at some point. Finishing something. That's what I hope for. But to be radically honest, I started to be true to myself rather recently. I would actually risk saying that it was this year. Because I've always thought, even at the beginning of this year, I had this weird thought that I need to learn programming. I need to learn how to make websites. It was the beginning of this year, because times is hard, COVID and war and inflation, and I need a better job. That was stupid, because I was not passionate about it. And I took a fucking holiday to learn it. It took me 3 or 4 months, and I actually did learn basics, and I actually did have almost 2 clients when I realized 2 things. First things first, my skill are far, far worse than what you can achieve through sites like Wix, where you can design your own site and they will do all the coding for you. And secondly, that I don't fucking like it at all. I was just forcing myself for this crazy idea that I have to do it. So yeah, it's been actually a little bit more than half a year that I've been really trying to stay true to myself, and I really rely on those bursts of energy. I have a story idea, I go and write it. I am hooked on a game. I got hooked on a game I think 3 days ago that I really want to play Dark Souls 3, and I played 7.5 hours in Dark Souls 3, and right now I barely play it anymore, because this is me, I'm just sprinting, ADHD kind of stuff. Maybe I do have ADHD, never diagnosed, fuck knows, I don't even know. And that's me. So right now, I am really hooked on my Etsy shop, but I can feel that I am slowly getting burned out. I think 2 or 3 more weeks, and I will not be interested in it anymore, and I'll pick up something else. And this is this example from Healthy Gamer GG, where he said, Dr. K, that's what people are referring to whenever they talk about him, where he said that people that are having my type of motivation, what he is calling win motivation, they will be building 5 wells at a time, and they will finish building 5 wells at the same time. It will took the other person that is building 1 well at a time 5 wells as well. We'll both finish at the same time, but halfway through, the guy that is building 5 wells 1 at a time, he will have 2.5 wells already, and you'll have none. So this is very demotivating, because you see no progress. So for the past 7 months or so, I see no progress, but I keep on digging. I keep on going for things, and I keep on following my passions and things that I love. Because whenever you're doing something that you really want to do, accidentally you put a lot of hard work, and it doesn't even feel like hard work at all. So yeah, that's it for me.